We've connected a homicide initially investigated by St. Pete PD to a missing persons case here in Hillsborough County. On Wednesday, June 9th at approximately 8 p.m., deputies responded to an apartment complex at 4349 Bayside Village Drive in the Town and Country area for a missing persons call. Just about around the same time, St. Pete Fire responded to a fire reported near the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. It's there that a body was discovered, and based on identifying markings and some preliminary investigative information, we have determined that this person is likely our missing woman. It's unclear at this time when the murder occurred or why it may have occurred, so we're asking all of you to help us get this message out. We're asking the public, anyone who may live in the same apartment complex or near it, to please come forward if you saw anything strange overnight that could help us with this case. Anyone with tips is urged to call 813-247-8200, where we can connect you with a detective who's currently investigating. As I mentioned, this is extremely preliminary, so we are limited in the amount of details that we can provide, but I'll take any questions that you may have.
At what time did deputies respond to the missing persons call yesterday?
Yeah, it was around 8 p.m. yesterday when we first got the report that a woman was missing.
At this point, is it too early to tell whether this victim was murdered before or after the fire? Is that still under investigation?
That's all a part of the investigation. So, as I mentioned, the person was found burned at this location near the bridge. When that happens, the medical examiner's office has to go in and actually survey the body and determine what actually caused the death. It may not have been the fire. It may have occurred prior. That's all just an ongoing process for us right now.
Were you able to release the identity of the victim at this point?
Due to Marcy's law, we wouldn't give the name of the victim, but I can say that it is a female in her 30s, and she worked as a security guard at the apartment complex where she was reported missing.
What was the nature of the missing person's call? Why were they concerned, and were they concerned that this person was in danger?
This was a relative who contacted us saying she had not come home from work. They were concerned and just wanted to call to report that she may have been missing so we could look into it.
But if they're concerned that she's missing, is this someone that was in frequent communication with? I mean, only a few hours is not necessarily enough for someone to go missing. So was there additional reason for them to be concerned other than she wasn't there?
Yeah, that's correct. A few hours, obviously, people could have stopped somewhere else on their way home. It doesn't always lead to a cause for alarm. However, in this case, the relative said it was out of her usual schedule. She was expected to be home at a certain time, so because of that, they called us.
And does she have a boyfriend or a husband?
Unclear at this time.
Unclear at this time whether she has either.
Correct.
So she lives at the same place where she works as security?
No, she works at the apartment complex, but she does not actually live there. When she got off work, she would have been driving home at that time.
And again, what's the name of the complex in town?
Yeah, the complex, I believe it's Beach Walk, but the exact address is 4349 Bayside Village Drive in the Town and Country area.
About what time today did St. Pete PD, I guess, reach out to you guys to kind of how the timeline developed this morning overnight?
Yeah, they actually reached out overnight. Some of you may have seen their PIO was actually on the scene last night as well. We'd been working with them just because of the general location. It's one of those areas with that bridge where it's split. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office does some of the investigating on one side, St. Pete PD on the other side, and also we patrol the water. So we were involved in that investigation from the start, and then once it was determined that this was linked to our missing persons case, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office took over the investigation.
When was the last time this missing person victim had been seen, or when was the last time the relative had spoken to this woman?
Yeah, earlier in the day. So on Wednesday, just earlier in the day is when they had last seen her and heard from her.
It's a very tight window here that this disappearance and death occurred.
Exactly.
How would you characterize how much information you have, how many leads you have?
Yeah, at this point, there is a person of interest who we are talking to at the apartment complex, but I want to reiterate that no arrest has been made, so the best thing the public can do to help us right now is provide any tips. The people who live at that apartment complex are the eyes and ears for our sheriff's office. They may have been outside at their car in the parking lot at the time that this occurred. They may have, looked out of their window and seen something suspicious. All of that is what can help us solve this case faster.
So, where did the victim live? Is she a Hillsborough County, or where is she?
Hillsborough County resident, as far as I know, but we wouldn't identify her address because of Marcy's law.
Would she have lived anyway in the vicinity heading toward 275 toward the bridge? Would that have been on her way home?
I wouldn't be able to say at this time. It's an ongoing investigation.
Was there a second vehicle there, or was there one vehicle?
At which location?
Connected to this investigation, do you have one vehicle?
At this time, there's one vehicle that we're looking into, and that is the vehicle of the victim. The victim's vehicle was found at the apartment complex, not at the bridge.
And again, this fire, I can describe this as a fire in the brush, right? There was no vehicle involved in the fire, correct? It was just a brush.
I see.
Yet no vehicle involved. Someone reported seeing flames near the bridge. That's when St. Pete Fire Rescue responded and put it out. Upon extinguishing that fire, that's when they determined that it was an actual person.
Is the fire considered to be arson connected to this case, or do you know what the cause of the fire necessarily is?
No, it's unclear exactly why. I mean, we are calling it a homicide because obviously it's suspicious if a person is found on fire. Any other questions? All right, we'll send out these details in a release, and thank you all for coming.